All right, so I've introduced you to the Ted Nomura comics here. Now, the one problem with Ted, I will say, in addition to sort of being a little cocky, he sort of like puts women on a pedestal a little bit, not as much as what they've done now. As a Japanese man, to which is I don't mind, to look at these women as some kind of thing to put in a pedestal. It's always a mistake, trust me. Yeah, but it doesn't make a difference. My real issue is that he doesn't really do enough of these stories. I would say he should stick to one story, but yours truly has like six comics he's trying to do now. So what was interesting, like I said, in the term of the timing of it, November 2001. So now September 11th has happened, right? So, and he also, I believe he was in the military. I think he was a National Guard dude. Well, a lot of these National Guard dudes got sent over there to Iraq, right? People that didn't do anything to America. But it was just interesting to see in the context of this. So you start to see this stuff. United we stand. Psha. Yeah. Nippon, please. So, see, this is the original story he had of these alien Amazons attacking. But with this dude, but I sort of don't have interest in that. I go back to the World War II stuff. So another story with Dora, right, and Albrecht, and they're talking about the idea that the Germans, to be an ace, you had to shoot down 10 planes. Okay, the Americans, it was 5, right? All right. I guess that's why the Americanas seem to have more aces, right? So, and of course, you get more of the HE-162s. So, and it's unarmed. Just force it to land. Man, fuck that. Oh, so, and as you can see, for that, they get attacked. And these are the American planes that were coming out, including their own fighters. But the story ends up real abruptly. Right? So, I mean, I have to get more of these issues, but it probably would have been nice if he stuck with a few. So, he goes to another story of Eric Hartman, the real story, okay, of him being a kid. The whole idea of the gliders. Germany was probably one of the number one countries to have like gliders, to become a glider pilot, which actually was very beneficial, especially for the jet and rocket powered people later, because you had to essentially glide your plane down after using up all your fuel. And once again, I didn't really enjoy whatever that was, and then the rest of it is just kind of technical stuff. I mean, big autistic technical airplane stuff, and like I said, I'm getting more into the aircraft, but it's still not enough. I mean, the aircraft, I'm always a tank guy, right? And then we look at interesting thing here, the art. He explains the art and how he developed his art. Growing up in Japan, so very interesting view from this guy. Right? And he shows how he draws. Now he's not using the circle bubbles, right? But it's still nonetheless. What a beautiful! Don't you wish you had this, right? For real. And he still uses number 2s, right? Like you get the good Bristol paper; it minimizes damage. Yours truly is using printer paper, and I should use the blue pencils, but I don't. You could cheat using the blue pencils. He's talking about erasing sucks. I can't tell you how much erasing sucks. The only thing I found is that the blue pencils, I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. They seem to show up even on these scans, and he was showing how his art style developed. Of course, he's in the 70s, and you see some of his early art here. Very interesting. Of course, the best manga was coming out in that time, right? The 70s and 80s. This is the one with the delinquent kid and like his nice, proper girlfriend. What is this? So that was a big influence on his style, on how he drew the people. Yeah. And of course, he likes the airplanes. I believe he's in the National Guard. But this was interesting. A story here, right? Divine Love. I like this. As with Bruce Lee, an Asian guy like me going out with white girls. Hey, make the W as big as the A. Come on, dude. Especially blondes, right? The golden haired female, right? was rather rare back then, right? So the Japanese pilot falls in love with an American girl whose father is a German Kriegsmarine attaché. So at least we keep it with the brotherhood, with the ally, with the Axis here. This actually looked pretty good. It would have been an interesting story, but you know. Anyway, just as you can see, though, it's kind of scattered. It's kind of autistic, but that's fine. Apparently, he did a bunch of these graphic novels, but I don't see these in print really. I guess I'd have to find these. Yeah. Now, eventually, at some point, he did Panzer in 1946. So now we're talking. The mouse, the E100, the Loa, right? The lion. And you get this story, and you come out here and you go, oh, look at this. Oh, am I in Valhalla? And this is cute. Hey, I just love that. And of course at this point it's the war is getting in trouble here. The Ivans are coming, right? In this reality, I believe the way the war went was they held out for another year. And then there was something with aliens that happened, and the war ended, but the Germans and the Japanese were not occupied. God, well, I wish. But I believe this is the E100. This is one of those super Panzers, right? So this is some exposition. And they fight the Ivans. With the tie, it's just it's kind of cool. I like it. Of course, ISU 152s. Oh man, these things were no joke. but it ends kind of quick. I'd rather he had done these stories a little longer. So and the other stuff is some science fiction things here. You have the German, right? Halloween. You have the German exchange student. You have my man Nomura here drawing himself. I don't mind it. I think it's hilarious. And for some reason too, I look at these girls, I always think of 70s. Well, that makes sense. This is when he was, I think, a young man. But I'm not as interested in the actual original. No offense, the Tigers of Terror story. Although it looks very much like the best time of 70s, 80s space opera. And these women have to wear these uniforms, and they're kind of like, why do we have to wear these uniforms? Well, they're getting paid, and part of their job is to wear these uniforms. So yeah, man, I'm gonna get more of these on eBay, just to build it up. Even if it's just a curiosity, even if I don't think even Ben done at this point, because Arctic Press is still going strong. Actually, all credit to them. I don't think they're gonna really push this kind of stuff anymore because of the political climate. Okay, which is a shame. But what are you gonna do? Well, I guess you have to have people way outside the system do it. What the hell? Hey, in the letters, what is this? Ted actually had to write somebody. What is this? Somebody writing a letter. Not happy that he was focusing on the Germans being attacked and what happened to them. Right? Even though 98% is all about the other side and what they went through, but okay. So now this goes to show you this is the 2000s. So this long letter, right? My man actually would totally, with the approved narrative, of everything being said as it said, everything happening as they said. He makes a very interesting rebuttal, well, not rebuttal, but response, right? Showing the suffering of German civilians during the bombing was very important. As a Japanese American, I'm quite aware of the bombings in Japan during the war. My mother was a witness to the famous Tokyo fire bombings of March 1945. As you know, for 6 months they firebombed the hell out of Japan. Right? And I would argue with him that nobody seems to know about the damn fire bombings. which Godzilla minus one is bringing back into the mainstream. In terms of reviews, people who know nothing of the war have been mentioning the firebombings because of that movie. So, anyway, right. Regular German citizens didn't bother worrying about certain people because they were busy getting bombed to shit. Right? And then he says, "As the fate of German hospital ship." Oh yeah, right. Little knows about the worst maritime disaster in history, which killed this many people over the Titanic. Right. The story of the tragedy is so complex and lengthy. Oh man, Ted, you're such a horrible person. Such a horrible man. I'm not gonna read these comics anymore. It brings up interesting thing. All the photos I see, yeah, the uniforms. You look at these people doing horrible things that they have photos of, and one thing I notice a lot too. The uniforms look a little different. And when you do see German uniforms, then you start seeing that. Oh yeah, these were the Baltic SS. Anyway, what am I talking about? All right. So, but of course, the buck stops here, right? With so many books about Adi from the Allied point of view, I thought it was important to see him from another side. Oh, you bastard! As a Japanese American, I see two different views every time. Many Japanese have the wrong idea about what America really is. Well, they do. They still think this is America from that time. Oh boy. As we fight the new wars of the 21st century, it's still sad that many Arabs have the wrong view about Israel and America too, and vice versa. All right. Well, like I said, this was during the war on terror with the genius Bush, the junior going on. But I want to thank you again for giving my point of view. Now, just in general, regardless of everything, that you could have this discussion at one point was interesting that you could do this, that this was not something that was totally destructive of the person in question. Right. So, but you really can't do this now, can you? So again, with this stuff, I don't like this other artist. It should have all been Nomura stuff or been done. Oh, what's this? So I want to get more issues of this just to see what it is. Even though there doesn't seem to be a real tight narrative. Other than, like I said, the Luftwaffe stories and the Panzer stories that he has drawn, which had my interest, and of course the Eric Hartman story. Of course, remember him, right? Another guy captured by the Americans and then handed over to the freaking Soviets. But anyway, I had to do two videos on these comics. You're never gonna see anything like this again. At least not printed, by any major person. But there still are other alternatives out there, and I'm gonna try to get my hands on one. But I will let you know when I do that. And I'm not even talking about what I want to try to do. All right, later.